Your voice is okay. Hmm. All right, we are live. Don't worry, yes, but yes, we are live. Hi guys. I am so sorry. As you can see, this is absolutely not IFA. This is Michelle, and I am the guest host for today. Due to some adventurous and unforeseen circumstances, therefore IFA is not able to join us this afternoon. And in her place, there is this thing called me, right? So, my name is Michelle. If you have no clue who I am, and I am a good friend of IFA's, and she has asked me to take over this afternoon's sharing. And I am very honored and very blessed to be in the presence of three gentlemen who are really into the outdoor scene as well as leveraging on the outdoors in terms of supporting their physical health. So thank you for waiting and thank you for being a part of this journey with IFA so far in terms of her lives on Sunday. And we hope that these lives have really been supporting you throughout your journey. So without further ado, I'm going to invite the three really esteemed gentlemen to come in and share a little bit about themselves because I'm not the highlight for today's session, right? So these three gentlemen are who you are here to listen to, and they are sharing with regards to the outdoor learning approach to physical health. Right, so first we're going to invite Mr. Abdul Shukur to come and join us in the sharing. And let me remove this picture so that Shukur can come in without being blocked. Hi, Shukur.
Hello, hi.
Yes, so Shuko
Hi.
is a guru and an expert in the outdoor. Oh, sorry, did I say something wrong? Right, so is a guru and an expert in the outdoor learning scene and very well respected person. In very involved, right, in terms of how he leverages on the outdoor learning approach as well as even some aspects of it for therapy. So I shall not steal his thunder. I'll let him share a little bit more about himself in a while. And I'm also going to invite the next guest, who is Alfian, to join us in this sharing session, right? Because it is really an honor to also have him. I understand from what I read about him is that he's a physical education teacher and he has three sons who are in the, oh, four sons. Congratulations. And happy Father's Day. Yes, happy Father's Day to all. Yeah, for and all four of your sons are in the sport climbing team, in the national sport climbing team, only three. Yeah, three of your cool. Right. And then last but not least, definitely we have one other person. Let me try and see if I can find him. He's somewhere. I don't know where he is now. You're here, but I can't see you. Give me 1 minute. Where are you? I think there's too many of me. Give me a moment. Ah, now I see you. Okay, cool. Nice. And yes, we have Hilmi from Muslim with Muscles. Yes. Yes, let me get that right because it's quite a tongue twister as well. And thanks, gentlemen, for taking this Sunday afternoon and a Father's Day to join us for this session. And I think for like Hilmi himself, he is a business owner and running his own company that does like fitness as well as using the outdoors as an avenue and a platform for fitness to be achieved. Right. So without further ado, I'm going to invite the three gentlemen to perhaps just introduce themselves a little bit. Perhaps we start with Shuko, to just introduce yourself and then like about your little journey in the outdoors.
Okay, hi. I'm Abdul Shukur. And just now you mentioned a lot of things, guru lah. I said no. Actually, I'm just old. I started too early in the outdoors. In fact, I just fell into the outdoors. This is what happened when you don't go to school. You ponteng sekolah and all that. You always end up in the outdoors. But that doesn't mean that the outdoors is a bad place. In fact, I hope during this session, we able to share about what's so good about the outdoors lah. Anyway, I'm turning 50 now. and that means I've been the outdoors since I was about 13 years old. And I'm already in the business of the outdoors. I mean, working professionally in the outdoors since I joined the Outward Bound. So I was in Outward Bound in 1991. Before that, I was a volunteer doing outdoor activities as well. That's because I wasn't in Scout, I was in the band. I was a drummer in the band. But every time after the band practice, I always hang out with the scouts. I go camps in the community centers and so on. So the outdoors are much closer to me than in the band room lah. Um, so so from volunteer to working in the Outward Bound, learn more skills, doing volunteer work. So you start to teach others as well. And then you get married and you more adventures come along and where you start to bring your family out. Many things come about together, and I think that's where I started my business. And I'm the director of Outward Bound. No, I'm director of Explorer Private Limited, and also the director of our Explorer Sdn Bhd in Malaysia. So well, that's about it. Yeah. So yeah,
What's your
that's
preferred
how
outdoor activity, Shuko?
my preferred. Well, actually,
Outdoor activity.
I started with a lot of climbing. I climb a lot. I went to Indonesia. I went to Kuala Lumpur when I was a bachelor. Do a lot of climbing and trekking up. But I think somewhere along the line, for some reason, I got injured. And the love of the sea, you can't run away from it. I came from a long line of sailors, so I end up loving the kayaking even more than climbing. Yeah, I'm a bit too fat now for climbing, I think.
But don't worry, you're still very buoyant for the water, right? So
Oh, thank you. Yes,
easy to
that's my
do
strength.
roll.
That's my strength.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Shuko, for sharing. Maybe we can hear from Alfian about yourself a little bit in your outdoor journey. Oh, Alfian, I can't hear you. Are you on mute by any chance? Okay, while Alfian is trying to sort out his technical issues on the sound, let's invite Hilmi first. Right. So Hilmi, yourself, maybe you can introduce yourself as well as your journey with
everyone.
Muslim with Waffles. Yeah.
Hey everyone, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hilmi Anwar. Well, a little bit about me. I have always liked sports, fitness. I was always an active little boy. So now I'm a older little boy still. So with the journey with Muslim with Muscles, really bringing out the inner child for for grown ups, and these grown ups as well, bringing in their families, their children, so everyone get to have their inner child out and about in the, especially in the open. In Singapore, we are, even though it's a small island nation, there's spaces out there where we can venture out, and our imaginations and creativity is the limit lah. So really with Muslim with Muscles, we really talk about being creative with our fitness journeys, the template that's nature that's around us. We can climb, we can run, we can do our physical activities, kayaking, swimming, and we can make it into a whole journey, a personal journey. So my journey with MWM has a lot to do with guiding and creating programs for families, communities, in a learning journey aspect. Like it's a curriculum where they start from maybe from a base camp, and then they have to go from one point to the other, and then they have to go in a group. And this group probably they are all family members, and they have to learn family dynamics, understanding, tolerating one another, or even finding pet peeves, and further on finding what can make them bond together through something that's physical, because many people are of different ages, different interests. So when this young boy likes to play with games when his father has always been an orang, maybe like you guys, physical people who like to swim, who's really at home in nature. So totally two different worlds connecting together with the physical activities that we have at where I'm from. So my role is really enjoying together with the participants, and at the same time retaining youth for one and all, really.
Cool. Sounds like an adventure on its own, man. Like just running to and fro with the family and really
Yeah.
just having fun together and really leveraging on the outdoors, right? To bring across that fun element and that active element as
Yeah.
well in terms of how to build the physical health. Nice. Alfian, let's see if we can hear you now. No, we can't. We don't know what happened. Do you want to try to log out and then log back in again and then see, use the same link to come back in again and then see if it helps? Yeah, let's just try that. Right. So while we wait for Alfian to do that and left with the Three Stooges, uh, we actually have some people who are watching us. I think from Malaysia, we have someone by the name of Fadil Ranga. Is that Shuko's friend?
Yes,
Shuko, is
my
that your
friend.
friend?
Yeah, my friend from Malaysia. That's
And
right.
there's another person, yeah, there's another person, Shamshir, Daus, Idayu, all these are Shuko's fan club, is it?
all waiting to
Fan cup.
ask questions or just want to sabung
All
it.
waiting to ask questions. Yes, please. Right. Once you're ready, please share your questions and ask and fire away, man, because it's the whole idea of having these three gentlemen here today to really share with us their journey as well as their perspectives on how we can use the outdoor learning approach in our physical health. Let's see if we can get Alfian now.
Okay, can you hear me now or not?
There,
Oh yes,
Alfian, finally.
yes,
Alamak. Okay. Sorry, Michelle.
Hey,
Oh,
no
Shuko,
worries,
help
no
me.
worries.
Sorry. I don't mean to
It's
become
all
like
right.
superstar like that. Cannot
It's all
talk.
right.
Okay.
All of you are superstars. That's why you're here today,
Alah,
right?
alamak. Okay. I feel so shy with Mr. Shuko here and Hilmi here. Alamak, I must go and buy the lights. Okay, anyway. Okay, hi, I'm Alfian. I have not. I mean, okay. Let me just go straight into it lah, since I wasted a lot of people's time. Okay. Okay. I've been teaching for about 20 years, 21 plus years. Uh, Before I start with teaching PE, I started with teaching English, math, science. Before I moved into PE as my specialization. I've been teaching PE for about more than a decade, probably, because I've been teaching for about 20 years. So I'm a father of four who are now much taller than me, as usual. But if I started teaching about when I finished NS, I jumped straight into teaching as a contract teacher. I've always enjoyed PE. I think everybody enjoyed PE somewhere along the line. And I want to teach PE, but not how it was taught. You just throw a ball and you play. I don't think so. That's the way. So I thought I would like to come in and teach. But I missed the PPT, the physical proficiency test. So which means, but I want to go NIE as soon as possible. So I went in as a GEO or General Education Officer. So I end up by teaching English, Math, Science, and PE again. But eventually the opportunity came for me to teach PE as many years later. So eventually with that diploma in sports science, I'm able to teach PE 100% lah, because MOE is trying to go into specialization. So I've seen how the education landscape evolve or change. So eventually, I think MOE understand or probably see the importance of OE, outdoor education, and it was introduced in 2014 as one of the learning area. So outdoor education is being taught as a learning area from primary 1 to primary 6, and even in secondary school. So probably primary 1 to primary 4, the combination will be the P5 camp or P6 camp.
Hmm.
So I from there we know outdoor is important, of course, but it's good to know that MOE also feel the same way, and it's being taught as one of PE subject as part of PE lah. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
So why did you choose outdoor activities to stay active?
Probably one of the reason is it's free. It's a cheaper option. Back then it's just get out and go. I think for me probably the idea of feeling of freedom when you're outside, possibility of doing everything and anything under the sun. Back then, there's nobody to teach us, navigation skills or whatever
Right.
it is. You just go out to a park and get
So
yourself
there's a
lost.
lot of
Yeah,
room lah.
yes, find yourself back home. Probably for those who cannot appreciate outdoors, ask them again now after 2 months of CB, how do they feel? Yeah, because now you can see more people at the park at Bukit Timah
Yeah.
climbing. Before that,
Yeah.
probably you see one or two ape, uncle, or that. Now everybody with the kids in tow all go out outdoors, which is in a way good. They're not supposed to do it now, but to see them doing it eventually is good because they can see the importance of being outdoors, especially with their kids and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Thanks. I think you're right to point out, right. Like this is exciting times because
Yeah.
you rightly put it. I think people who like, yeah, go outdoors, yeah, got mosquito, all these things,
Yeah.
right? Now not everybody is like, what mosquito? I just want to be out there and
Yes,
and, and,
exactly.
and breathe in the fresh air and things
Yep.
like that, right? So it's
Yep.
very, very interesting how things have perhaps shifted and changed. And perhaps this is really a timely conversation for us as well, isn't it? Because as people are venturing outdoors and trying to see how that kind of like fits into their physical exercise or physical health lifestyle, they might need some like tips and tricks from you guys for today's conversation as well, as they go about doing that. We have new friends that join us. We have Jeff Jalil and Ahmad Shahir. Thanks, guys, for joining in and tuning in. And yes, as Fadil says, please like and share, like and share this video so that more people can hear about what we are going to be discussing and how that might perhaps benefit them in the long run. So maybe we come back to Shuko for a while and grill him a little bit, right?
Yes.
For him to share with us. I think end of last year you led a trip to Nepal, right? With a group of Muslims. I think was a group of ladies or something like that, right? So how did you prepare yourself and perhaps your participants for such a trek?
I think this is the interesting part. Being in the outdoors, people like to assume that I'm leading it. My company did. My company did actually, so in a way, lead the whole event to bring them up to Annapurna. But it is actually led by much more professional people. We are looking at Edwin Siu. Edwin Siu as the leader, and we have Anthony, mountain trek. We have Jamling Bote from Kathmandu himself, and her daughters, Nisha Bote. So they are the leaders. But I think in terms of, to me, the physical thing is actually done by someone else. But I'm very much more in tune in preparing them mentally. I think that is also equally important as well. And when I talk about mentally, is actually more to what's the purpose? What exactly you're looking for when you're actually climbing up? Because I think there are people who can climb mountain, but if you're unable to appreciate, you're unable to push yourself to really look forward what's in front, what's up there, and also to look into what's right, what's not right. So that's where I come in. So when you talk about leading, that's where I led the development of the youth, preparing themselves to go up. So that's how I prepare them. Eventually, when they actually go for the training, they'll have more fun. They get to know each other. They know the purpose why they have to push themselves hard. So all in all, by the time they climb up to the mountain or they trek, it's basically a good walk, because all the hardship of going round and around the stadium is actually very meaningful at the end of it. So that's how it is. For me, physically. I used to be very physical, strong, but during the training, I always at the back, walking with the other of the same age as me. So if you can call that leading, yes, that's leading as well. Just make sure that you don't stop. You keep on running. You keep on walking. I guess that's all. Yeah, that's the example that I'm going to. Yeah. Yeah, so that's how Explora kind of lead this group of people to Annapurna. Yeah, we're supposed to go again this April actually, but unfortunately we have to cancel everything. Yeah,
Yeah. But if you were to go again, I think let's say early next year, apparently the sky
Yeah.
is a lot bluer, the air is a lot fresher now with lesser traffic,
yeah,
apparently.
yeah. My partners in Kathmandu has been sending me pictures.
Oh, so nice.
Because when for them stay at home means by the edge of the mountain, so for I don't mind stay at home at their place. Yeah. So just now we were talking about those people who don't love outdoor now want to go to the outdoors. What Alfian was saying, but can you imagine we the outdoors people stay in the room? 87 days stay in the room. I siao. Yeah.
So because you also mentioned
Yeah.
about preparing the participants like mentally for it, and then now you say you stay 87 days in the house, you siao, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's
so,
irony, it's irony. It's so crazy. Yeah.
so can you share a little bit like how do you
Yeah.
prepare yourself mentally for like an outdoor experience or just getting physical outdoors? How do you prepare mentally for it? Let's say I've never been like I'm
I
this
think in
person who's
okay.
like I love staying at home for
I
87 days kind. Then now I need to go outdoors. How would you prepare me mentally for it?
I think whether you stay outdoors or going out to the sea, in the Muslim community, which I get myself involved in a lot, there's this word called nawaitu, means the intention. So very important to actually tune into the intention. Scientifically, having an intention means all your windows open inside your head, and whatever challenges or perception of challenge come into the head because of this intention, it kind of go to the right places. Decision making, the ability to want it, the willingness to go for it, is kind of open. So unless there's no intention, there's no purpose, no direction, everything will start to close. So this is the kind of philosophy that I'm kind of going into. When you go to the outdoors with a person with a closed mind, even mosquito is the biggest enemy. The sun is basically a challenge as well. But the minute it's open up, I think what you can see just blue sky, wind, and the love of being out there and face whatever it is. I think you jatuh, you fall, tumble down, also you love it, you will feel like adventure. So it's a kind of motivation. That's how you prepare. You prepare them to be motivated. That's how it is. Yeah.
Nice.
Or else people like me don't want to climb also. Yeah.
Cool. That's really, I think that's a very different perspective, right? When we talk about going outdoors and being physically involved, people usually talk about how to prepare yourself physically. They don't usually talk about preparing yourself mentally to get fit or to get physically, like to think about your physical health. You actually need to start with your mental or your mindset first, right? Not just go and get one. Like go and get one shirt from Decathlon lah, get shoes lah, then just go already, just go gym.
That's important too. No, that's important too. You got to look good lah. Then after you go to Hilmi for the muscles.
Right. So nice direction because we're going to come to Hilmi now, right? And Hilmi, your involvement with the outdoors perhaps have transformed you in a certain way. Would you be okay to share with us like how the outdoors might have transformed you and perhaps that's the reason why you are including outdoors with Muslim with Muscles as part of the curriculum?
Yes, yes. Really glad to open up about it. In many ways, the outdoors has helped me because of the fact that like what Mr. Alfan has mentioned, is free. So it's really something that is accessible to practically everybody who is able to go out of the house. And I understandably, during the CB period, people couldn't really go out the house willy nilly because of needing to only go out due to essential purposes. Um, but that's before all that, when I was really trying to get started on my fitness journey, I didn't have much money, going to the gym, buying supplements and all that, nutrition, all that takes a heavy toll. I really needed to run. I really also needed to train my mind, like what Mr. Shuko has also mentioned, that the mental prep is also just as important as the physicality. So when always cluttered up inside the house or inside buildings, in contrast to being out there in the outdoors, you really get to see further out. So you have this um metaphorical easing of your senses, because you don't have to really always be in such small enclosures. You can now look further out, and you don't have to really look within this vicinity so much. So in a psychological aspect, it allows you to unease yourself. And in many ways, sometimes in every fitness journey, in every even in academic journeys or career wise, sometimes we overanalyze, overlook at small things, when it's really important for us to go to the top of the mountain, that sort of thing. It's a matter of our perseverance, and at the same time, like how we walk. It's about, walking is actually a type of falling in sequence, in a sense, because
Yes.
we on one foot, if we don't balance, we just fall. But if we fall and then we land on the next foot, we are making a next step. So in many ways, is just pushing ourselves forward, propelling ourselves forward. So with the outdoor aspect, um it gives another dimension as well for myself. I'm actually, or rather, I used to be really shy. um I needed to find ways to come out from the shell. So going to the gym, going to anywhere where there's a lot of people would make me really self-conscious. So with the outdoors, I was still self-conscious, but the trees, the animals wouldn't say anything negative, nor would they take photos of me and upload to social media. So it started to allow me to open up bit by bit and tell myself that everything's okay. Yeah, it's a self acceptance. And as a practicing Muslim as well, I always saw that going back to nature allowed me to go back to what I truly am as a human being. That I shouldn't be so shackled up with all these limitations that probably I set upon myself, and what I think society needs me to be. In many ways, like you need to behave a certain way. I mean, of course, we have to follow guidelines and all that, but sometimes before we even step out to do the right thing for our own selves, we think about what others think, fear of judgment, um, fear of failure, fear of being seen to be a failure, things like that. So for myself, when I did more outdoor things, it was a buffer for me, because if I couldn't do things in front of people, at least I know that in nature or in the outdoors, I had myself, and a whole big expense that probably is shared by others, but they're probably just running past me, not even looking about me. It's a bigger place, and allowed me to, when sometimes when we are so stressed out with life, career, work, love, sometimes it's really bad. It's about our heart getting too small. So when we go out in the open, we get to stretch out and feel more whole. So that's how it transformed me. And going to refer to what Mr. Shuko had mentioned just now, pushing people to the front, and usually I'm always leading, because I'm always the I'm always the younger one. I wouldn't say less old. Sorry, thinking about the right things to say. Sometimes I do this in the outdoors, when there's no one around, so I just start talking to myself. Hey, is this the right thing to say or not? When we are with people, sometimes like, hey, no, something wrong. Anyway, when in the outdoor things that I've done with them, um, sometimes we are there out in nature. I lead people, I push them, or I join it in the middle. And this is where, like what Mr. Shuko had mentioned, some people jatuh, they fall, and then some of them do not enjoy falling. But we told them, hey, how often do you fall in the mud? I never fall in the mud. Yeah, first time leh. Okay lah, take photo. photo. Then after that, probably they'll be so unhappy, but tomorrow they see the photo, wow, oh my god, I can use this and edit Spartan at the bottom, and people like, oh my god, you went for Spartan? No lah, no lah. What Spartan training? Some people are so they need social media, they need people's acknowledgement in some way. So with this nature talk, nature walk, and all that, it's something that's more reachable for. It's actually a competition for themselves. Against their own self in many ways, just by being out there, and with experiential learning in many ways, with the experiences, they, we wire ourselves, like what Mr. Shuko mentioned, Nawai too. It sets the intention, and it will ignite and give, like car, you want to start the car, it ignites certain pathways for them, like to have goal settings more, to be more open, to not give up. And sometimes it's normal to have a bit of mud in your hands, a bit dirty to do your work. So don't be so hard up with the mosquito. Don't be so hard up with the mud. Don't be so hard up with your pen. No more ink. You still buy, or you can find another pen. Some people, they'll be so stressed. Oh my god, no more ink. Die. That kind of thing. So all this translates to our mannerisms, and it just comes over. And MWM, I've noticed that both young and old, young and old, young and less young people, they actually benefit in this aspect, I think. So I hope that somewhat entertains us.
Hilmi, I help you. Next time you want to say, right, you can say young and younger. Right. So when we take photo, now
Younger. Oh,
I will say the tall stand in front, the taller stand behind. So everyone is tall.
yes,
don't have to worry about the language. Right. So now you can have, if you are young, then you are younger. Yeah, that's how you can go with it, right? Right. So for Alfia, you have like 3 of your 4 boys who are all taller than you now, involved in the youth team at Climb Central. And based on what our 2 other gentlemen have shared, right, about being very clear about the purpose of why you want to go into the outdoors, or using that as an outdoors, and how that might have transformed them. Maybe you can share a little bit about that journey that you have with your boys. Like, did they choose to want to be in the climbing team, or did you say, "Father says so, you better join"? Right. So, what was the intention perhaps they had when they decided to be part of the team, as well as your purpose for them to involve them in the outdoors?
Okay. I think I assume Hilmi is the youngest here.
There's younger, and youngest lah.
He
Y'all
looks
can
like the
decide who
youngest
lah.
Okay. Anyway, since we're on the topic of intention, since Mr. Shiko brought the word out, I think for me, I cannot compete with Mr. Shiko because he brings people up to the mountains and all that. Probably my basic most intention is because I have 4 boys. Basically, my intention of bringing them out is they have way too much energy. So I did tell my wife, it's either we exhaust them or we will get exhausted. So it started all from there. Plus, call me cheapskate, but I think bringing them outside is always the cheapest option, because I hate going to the malls, and my boys even up till now they hate going to the malls, so they rather be outside, which is good in a way. So at a young age, I always bring them out. So we don't need to bring them to expensive places. It's just somewhere where they can run free, run free space. Bring them to parks, Jacob Dallas, East Coast, Sembawang Park, Pulau Ubin, as long as they are able to run. Because I am not afraid for my boys to get injured or get dirty. I think as at now, we have stitches, broken bones, cuts, which is not new to them. And I'm probably not going to be the last one. I think for me, I believe that children should be exposed to some sort of controlled danger. When they are exposed to those kind of danger, controlled danger, they probably will be able to learn to take care of themselves better, able to assess the risk of certain activities. Because otherwise, I think nowadays, parents will be afraid for children to fall, a little bit fall, cannot. For me, go ahead and fall. Probably I brought up in the old school type where if I were to fall, my father just look at me and say, okay, get up and go and shower or something like that. I come back with cuts here and there, then just put, minyak gamat, and that's it. So probably so far, alhamdulillah, my kids have been physically active. School-wise, academically, okay. I managed to go to school, to secondary school through DSA, through sports. I think being outdoors and being part of sports made them more resilient. That is something that probably I'll be thankful about, because they are more resilient because of that towards adversities. And furthermore, they learn how to communicate with their peers, and hopefully they are not socially awkward, because we cannot see OE as the means to the end. It's always the journey towards there, because there are those other things that we did not pick up.
Mm.
So OE, we cannot see OE is just by itself. It's the skills that we learn throughout OE. So you mentioned about my boys climbing, all that. Probably like you say, I'm not forcing them to climb in a way, but I'm just showing them the direction, because I enjoy climbing, but I did not have enough opportunity to climb as often as I wanted to. Again, it's an opportunity for them to exhaust them. Besides taking them to indoor playground, I always bring them out. So I brought them. There's one time I brought them to Climb Central. It looks colorful and nice at Kallang Wave Mall. So they say want to climb. Say, oh, go ahead and climb lah. So they climb for fun, no pressure. Just telling them to climb higher. No pressure. Just some more, climb higher. So we climb from morning till afternoon because it's not cheap. So I tell them, you climb until you make my money worth. Because I know. Actually, times 6 lah. Okay, including my wife and myself. So we climb all that. So many years later, we went. My kids went for a trial, and they managed to go into the youth team. Because in the first place, I do not want my kids to specialize too early, because that is the concept that MOE is also advocating, not to specialize too early, because children, when they specialize too early, they get a burnout later part. So I expose them to many type of sports: tennis, track and field, football, climbing. So at this age, they are more or less stabilized. They know what they want, so they enjoy climbing. So okay lah, go and climb lah. So that's where they start climbing on top of their CCA in school. They're climbing like twice a week in the weekdays and weekend. I think now, not only asking them to climb, I think as parents also we have to commit ourselves. I mean, giving them the proper equipment, showing them the right attitude towards it, giving them support. I think because of that, I think my kids are, again, I say, is more resilient. They don't give up as easily, because these are some of the benefits that we probably don't look out for. We always think as the end means they must climb the highest peak, or that. I don't think so. It's whatever we learn along the way. I think that is more important. Yeah.
So the journey is more important than the destination, right?
Definitely, and the support they give as a family. We keep. I think through all this, I think I believe I have to say that it keeps the family together, because there's a common bond. Yeah.
So I'm curious, during this circuit breaker period, right? You can't go and climb. Then what y'all do? You're at home, build your own wall in the house.
My kids are going crazy, boys. Even now, they're teenagers, like 14, 15, 16, and 18 years old, full of energy, and they're stuck at home for 2 months, or cannot take it. But because they cannot climb, so we end up doing activities at home, like simple activity, because they still have online exercises by the coach. So they do exercises, and once in a while we just get the bicycle and just ride out to get food and to come back. As long as they're outside doing something, they come back. I mean, within the rules of the law lah.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for sharing. To hear like all these stories as well, right? And Fadil wants to say happy Father's Day to all of you. and to just like send his greetings, right? And we actually have Zainon Saad, who actually says that not many of us have the privilege to climb mountain with our family. She understands that Mr. Shuko has done it with his family, and she asked for Mr. Shuko if you would care to share the experience. I salute the determination of your kids and your wife, and then hope your kids have picked up the interest because they love the outdoors too. You can share a bit about this, because Zainon has requested for you to share the experience you have with your family. Just along the way, maybe how the outdoors have also transformed you.
Yeah. So amongst Malays, I have to say, excuse me, Tompang Lalu, brothers. So again, I think bringing family up to the mountain or to anywhere doesn't come in a year. It all started way back in 1997. I already in the outdoors, and I get to know my wife then, and we already kind of like she with her NUS ODEC, and while I'm with Outward Bound. So by the time we get married in 1998, we kind of like if there's a moment, a chance, because once you're in the Outward Bound, you have 5 days course, you have 9 days course, 21 days course, you never come back home. So when you come back home, you have to separate my time with my family or with my mom and dad and my other siblings. So all these things require balance. But something that I take note of is when I'm with my own family, with my wife, for 2 years we got no kids. We kind of going into this mode. Every year we go to what we call the lost journey, LOST, lost. So the lost journey, I think Brother Alfian was mentioning about it. That's not a destination. So we kind of live with it. There is actually definitely no destination. We get our car. During the time, I think it was a charade old car, it's old car. We travel up to Perak. We travel up here. We go to the mountains. We go to the river. And there's totally no destination. We free ourselves without any pressure of going somewhere. But we enjoy everywhere. Time go for barbecue. Okay, go to pasar first, buy the meat, and then go to the river. Do some barbecue. And I think it goes along when I have Nadia, who is actually my daughter now, 19 years old. Or was it 20? I can't remember. Father things like that.
I hope she's not
when she was
watching.
young, when she was young, I think that is the largest amount that we ever spent. I seriously, we are not that wealthy. We are not wealthy. Largest amount we went to New Zealand. We, my wife, myself, and my younger daughter. I think she was once again as father. I can't remember. Was it 3 years old? Was it 2 years old? I tak tahu. We went to New Zealand, and again no destination. We get the camper van and off we go. So this lost journey become yearly event, and it goes into our kind of character already. And there was a time that I only brought my younger daughter. We went up to the Malaysia. We don't go far, as you can see. Malaysia got a lot of places already. We went caving, and we fall in love with caving. And both my daughters now are cavers, level 1 and level 2. So they are trained in there. My youngest one, and both of them again are tree climber. So they are certified to climb trees. I mean, Singapore climb trees for what, right? We can't even climb trees. So therefore, we have to go to Malaysia to climb trees. And there's actually certification for that. I think what we are looking at is very slowly. The interests are not exactly things that you have to do for your life, but it's a what's it, extracurricular. It's like I fed up, I want to go like for me, I got fed up. I go and take my kayak and paddle. So that's the style that we are in. Of course, when time goes by, we save money. We build up interest. I think the whole idea of go training together as family, running around the stadium, go up Bukit Timah, and then spend time 17 days up in a mountain together with the family. I think that's absolutely interesting. I think if we have the money, we want to do it again. You don't have to be expensive, because if you train your children from young, we don't ask for expensive stuff. I think it will be fantastic. If you start from young, looking at hotels and resorts, I think we die, right? But
I die
I'm
first.
glad. Yeah.
I will die first. I'm 6.
But I'm glad that earlier on, Mr. Alfian was saying is that the outdoors are cheap. Really, outdoor is cheap, but buying the equipment is not lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to be careful. You got to be to really know what are the things you want and where you want to go, and then build up in them to really treasure the equipment that they have. So they kind of know, if I don't have a walking stick, maybe another stick also can. These are all learning characters that is actually built up. Will my children follow me, be in outdoors? I would say that My elder one, Nadia, have an opportunity to go to Republic Poly. Nope, she don't choose. She don't choose the outdoor education. She went to MESCOM. The youngest one also very outdoorish. But nope, she preferred to be a policewoman when she grew up. So we are all different. Yeah. But I think putting the intention in there, putting the motivation there, I think is very important. Whether you got to do it just like destination, it doesn't really matter. But you build them up from young like that.
Oh,
Mm.
nice, nice. I
Yep.
think good tips for Hilmi. Hilmi is just taking notes now, right? Because Hilmi doesn't have kids yet. He plans to have, I'm presuming, and then he's like, taking notes. So he's taking notes from the two gentlemen here to share about like how they engage their kids with the outdoors and how it is a cheap option to get
Yeah.
them healthy and fit and everything, right? So
Michelle, can you see if you see it in the note, Ahmad Shahir and Jeff Jalil. I
yes,
think Jeff Jalil is we both went out together with our family. Shahir family, Jeff Jalil family, and my family together. We drive up to, now I can't remember the name of the place because we just go. It is actually a cave with water inside. I'm quite sure if you're talking about schools, the number of ramps that you have to do, risk assessment would be a lot, But if you have
totally
the
agree.
three fathers, if you have the three fathers and the three mothers, all adventurous, boleh lah, come lah, go in lah. So we actually go caving. We get the kids to cook sop tulang, in the jungle, play Tarzan and swing. So I think that's what I think a cheap expedition should look like for a family. No need to go far. Yeah.
So far, yeah, that's so true. Because I think just given what you just shared, right? Basically, I mean, we can't do as many of it in Singapore because we don't have caves, and our trees are national parks will probably come after us if we try to swing from the trees. But the reality is we do have all these opportunities to just bring our kids out there, run about, right? Like what I think some of you have mentioned, just get exposed to the simple things of like sunshine, the grass, and then like the little insects. I think we had one friend that shared in a webinar session that we had yesterday with Grundy. And he's a father of two. His elder one is 4 years old. His younger one is about 2 years old, and the older one basically has been going around. Now we have to put a mask on, right? And he's been looking for snails, millipede, ants. Just squat down there and watch the ant trail as they crawl by. The sister has followed him, squat together with him, and just watch the ants go by. And when the beaches open on Friday, so on Saturday, I think on Friday evening, they just brought the family to the beach because cannot stay overnight. So they just went for like an afternoon trip. He actually took photos and video of the sun turning over the rocks, right? And then trying to find crabs. And the crabs were all running around. And then he was like so happy just seeing that. And I think that's the thing that like most of our families and our kids might not have that kind of exposure as much to. And there is a lot of benefits with actually going out there. I think mental, physical, and emotional benefits as well. So I'm going to direct this question to Mr. Hilmi, right? What are some of the health benefits that you have witnessed, okay, and experienced for yourself and perhaps even your clients who attended your sessions when you expose them to like all these outdoor opportunities as part of developing their physical health? Mr. Hilmi, are you there?
I think there's a lag.
Yes, there's a lag. I can't hear him though.
Sound dia rosak.
You're taking turns to
Yeah.
use sound.
Your turn.
We can't hear you, Hilmi.
So hit it, Alfian.
So,
Okay,
like-
we're playing charades with Hilmi now. So he's trying to out what he's trying to say. Hilmi, you want to try to do what Alfian did?
Yeah.
Go out and come back in again. And then see if that works. Yeah. You can do a dance.
Over to you, Mr. Alfian.
He's getting back to me lah. I think he's getting back at me just now.
Maybe if we come back to if we do come back to Alfian for now, perhaps we can ask you the question of what advice would you give to parents and families who like to explore the outdoors for their health?
Do it. Don't think twice about it. Do it. I mean, don't be afraid of getting dirty, bitten by mosquitoes, being sweaty. Like I mentioned, it's probably the best option as a family to go out. I mean, you don't need to sign up with expensive places. Go to expensive. Just get out. Go out. Because the way I see it, we have to see beyond just going out. Like as I mentioned, going outside or outdoor is cannot see as a means to the end. You must see what you get from that, all those intangible benefits. But like for example, if you have to climb the mountain, it's not about reaching the peak, it's about building the resilience. So I would say just go ahead and do it. Because I think in today's context, being resilient is probably one of the most important value that we need to have in our kids. Because many kids nowadays tend to give up quite easily. Sometimes it's not about I think it's just about not giving up, going for your goals. At the end of the day, some of the things that you probably learn, you may forget, but the feelings that you may get at the end of the day, that's something that you will not ever forget. So I think if I want to say, if it is important to create memories. So no matter what you do, create memories. So if I were to give an example, sometimes if we go and sometimes after many years we meet up with our old kakis, right? And yet we can still bond and talk. And the reason because of that is we have that shared memories, the created memories. So after 20 years, we can still say, hey, remember that and all that, because of these shared memories. I think this is something that is probably missing in many kids' life nowadays, because parents are too busy, all that. So they don't have the common bond. So to me, going out, be out there, go through difficulty together. And something that I wanted to do this year is actually to climb a mountain, which didn't happen because I believe I must put my kids together in some sort of difficulty as a family for us to overcome that, and we come out stronger as a family. These shared memories is probably the ultimate thing that will bond everybody together. So I think if I were to share my perspective as an educator or a parent, I told my kids this also. Children don't necessarily need to be occupied all the time. You don't need to have something which is planned all the time. I think children need to get bored. We have to make them feel bored once in a while. They cannot be occupied all the time, because you know what will happen when children get bored, right? I mean, they will get creative out of their boredom. So if you bring them out, like usually I'll bring them to Pulau Ubin. I don't need to plan anything, just bring them out. They just find things to do. I mean, that is something that is amazing about the outdoors. Anything that can happen, like now technology, anything can happen, will happen. So just get them bored a bit, just show them the right way. Okay, go here. Like what you said, the kids will try to turn the rocks over, find what's there, look at the snake, look at the lights. I mean, not lights, I mean the leaves and all that. Something that probably will not be able to do at home. So that to me is something which is, I think nowadays kids don't have, because they need to be occupied all the time. So I even until now, I think I said that to my boys yesterday, because they say they were bored. And I say, you don't need to be entertained all the time. Go and find your own entertainment. So in the end, when I took away their phones, I still do nowadays, even they're teenagers, I take away their phones. So they come together, 4 boys, they sit down and chit chat and talk, and then they find things, Lego lah, board games, and they start playing. So they have to get bored sometimes. Then they get creative. So to me, if cheapest option again, if family wants to bond together, bring them out, go through some sort of difficulty together. You probably come out better as a family, because it creates that bond. That is something that probably many people are missing. Yeah.
Cool. And actually, this circuit breaker has kind of like allowed us to do that, isn't it? To a certain extent, we got no choice but to be bored because we are at home.
Yes.
And we are put in a position where we got no choice also to just be with our family.
True.
Whether we like it or not, right?
It's like, to me, it's like a reset. It's a much needed reset. You see nowadays, even you cannot buy things from the bakery shop because it's all sold out. Suddenly, everybody started baking, or everybody started doing some sort of activities which we will never have an opportunity to do it. So to me, it's a. I mean, I know people have go through difficulties during this CB, but to me, it's a much needed reset. So everything goes back to normalcy. I mean, the new normalcy. Even for example, if I were to touch on the recent Ramadan, the fasting month, everything goes back to the basics.
Yes.
Cannot go out, cannot go pasar malam, cannot go all that. So as a family, you have no choice but to be together. Yep.
Yeah. The
Hey,
Geylang Bazaar
Michelle,
wasn't even set up.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Michelle, if I can add on, because
Sure.
Alfian was talking about the certain areas, and then you were asking just now about how do we get our kids to. I think the outdoors philosophy in to me, when I was thinking philosophically, see, the outdoors is a mixture of what you see, the visuals and stuff. And during this CB, I found that why people start to bake, even children start to bake, I say because they want to develop something, and the outdoors actually, if we do not want to repeat this again lah, for sure. But in this instant, because I wrote, I got chance for this 3 months, 4 months to write an article on this. When people
article or thesis?
article
or thesis?
Mati thesis is actually an article. Actually, what I was thinking about is actually this the outdoor thing marry very well these three things. One is cooking, and the other one is art, and the next one is music. These three somehow is very strong related to the outdoors. That is why if we want to really get our children to be happy in the outdoors, so that when they get bored, even we leave them alone, they're able to pick up something. Is when you're able to see your children start to hum, to humming, when they walk and they start to sing song, no matter whether it's Korean or what, they hum. That is actually a very positive thing inside the head already. And then when they go to the campsite, you see the joy of them starting fire. Don't be afraid of teaching them how to start fire, the various way to start a fire, because it's actually quite an art to start a fire. And then they start cooking. They can add on anything except too much salt. So that one you have to teach. Other than that, they can add whatever they want. I think that's also the second one. You can actually see them develop, because when the kids start to build something, they find that they are empowered. They find that they actually achieve something, and this is the memory that we want the kids to have. And the more they do it, then the next step will be that they will start to show off, because this is reality. When they know something, they want to show off, which is actually quite a flow in the identity. There you start to teach them about humility. So entirely up to you. That's your father and mother's job lah. But kids want to do that. So when you see them humming, we see them doing something, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the thing. Bring a canvas, bring papers and stuff like that. When they stop by, hey, let's draw something. These are also memories, and I think that's why my wall, when my kids are small, they can chonting, they can graffiti and so on. They naturally will stop, or they will build up more artistic stuff. And that's something that we need to allow. The worry is that the minute they draw something on the wall and you start scolding them. I think this is what I felt that many of us adults cannot tahan. The minute they dirty something, we start to scolding them. I think to me, the only thing that I don't allow them to play is just to play shit. Other than that, they want to play anything, I think it's also good. But at the same time, you need to guide them when they start to grow a little bit more. And that's why when people ask me how do we get to share this with your kids, you have to start sharing this bit by bit. So for those new timers just starting to have little kids and so on, I guess this is how you want to build them. Don't throw them with handphones all the way. You will lose them. Once a while, the handphones can, but not too many, because handphone is also information, knowledge.
Yeah.
but not too many lah.
Not all the time.
Not all.
That,
Not all the time. Take it away. Take it away.
I mean, that's some. This is some of the addition that I thought I just want to say in until Hilmi come back lah. If he decided to come.
Yeah, he came back and then he left again and then he's back again. So we'll try our best to bring him back in again. But meanwhile, we have Jeff Jalel, who also says that it is awesome to the children to be embracing the outdoors and learning the survival skills through the positive outdoor experiences. So here's a question here also, right? How often do you get to be with your children to see all these learning unfold? So this question, I think not directed to the two of you lah, is more to the public in general, right?
Everybody.
How often do you actually have this opportunity to do so? And I think, and he says that Mr. Shuko and his team is awesome at facilitating such experiences. Can't wait for the next one. And we have actually a question here, which I think is a very interesting question. Maybe not just to Shuko, but also to Alfian as well. While doing all these activities, do you ever encounter ghosts in the cave or in the outdoors? And something like that with your participants? You get this question when the kids go to camp.
I think this is good. Hilmi is back. Sorry, I mixed it up here. This is good. I just want to mention this about the outdoors. Never. I like to say this. Sound like Winston Churchill. Never tell ghost story in the outdoors. It doesn't really make sense. It will not benefit anybody. It will not benefit the brain. It will not develop anything. You scare the people out. You scare the kids. You scare myself. And I can imagine, unless you're the brave one. If you start telling stories, I mean, we are going to psychology. Yeah? You actually manifest inside the children's brain. I think we are the Malays. I'm not too sure about the other races. Yeah, the Malays. I think we are in a loss because for a certain amount of years we've been momok. You know, our parents has haunted us with don't go to the jungle lah, ada jin lah, got ghosts lah and stuff like that and so on. I think in this era, it is very, very aptly now to actually start telling what is it about the outdoors, about if you want to talk about danger, tell them the truth. What is the danger, so that they will know. But don't tell them, oh, don't go inside there, there's a ghost and so on. Manifestation of the brain will start to go into belief system. From belief system, then they go then they will start to visualize. After they visualize, they go back to their psychosomatic, and then after they go like, I saw a ghost, and bam. And hysteria start to come in. Have I seen in my life, the only ghost I've seen is that there's one person came out from the toilet without any clothes. I think that's the closest to a ghost everyone will say. He forgot that the outdoors still got human beings. Huh? So I think what I'm trying to get is that when you start with ghost story, unrelated negative stories about the world in those environment, you are actually closing doors, the mind of the kids of wanting to explore. So the word is explore. So when the kids supposed to explore will no longer want to explore, they shut that. So basically you shut some synapses of exploration inside their mind. So I think we should not do that at all. Yeah. And have I seen ghosts? No, I have not seen ghosts. Yes. Yeah.
I think it's like telling them, don't think of a pink elephant.
Yeah. Especially the one with juggling, you know. Yeah. Okay, Hilmi.
Yeah. So nicely coming back to Hilmi, because we talk. So Shuko basically just covered like the mental health aspect of the benefits or non-benefits if we think that direction, right? So maybe Hilmi can come back to you.
I'm back.
What are the health benefits that you might have witnessed and experienced for yourself with engaging in the outdoors as part of the physical health aspect of things?
Yeah, as I was saying just now, there is a whole lot of different experiences for different individuals. You know, some of them would be quite violent, would have violent reactions to the whole outdoor. I always found that they grew in some way and another. there's this particular incident where there's this lady. She's in her late 50s, going 60. She actually has heart murmurs and a situation where there's some blockages in her cardiovascular system, not only in the heart area but also in certain parts in the body that doctors couldn't really pinpoint and help her. The only things that they could say to her would be to try to exercise and try to be active to get the whole body blood flow to circulate well. So one of the times we went to Sungai Buloh. This in Singapore, not in Malaysia, in Singapore, Sungai Buloh in Singapore. She was having a tough time breathing when she made her way there. She stayed that time. She stayed at, I think, UT. So the Grab journey, the taxi journey she took, she felt that she wasn't comfortable. She felt heavy in the chest, and didn't feel quite like, didn't feel on form lah to go for the whole. That day was the 10 kilometer walk lah. So I told her it's going to be all right. Let's try have at least 2 to 4 kilometers first. Maybe about half an hour to 1 hour. We see lah how you feel whether you're up for it. Because sometimes what you really need is to get the gears going, and you have a better sense of how you're going to go through the day. So she said, "Okay lah, I trust you." The moment she said the trust word lah, okay. Okay, have to really take care lah. So yeah, someone's mother, because she came with her family, with her husband, with her children. So okay, um, the children were like, okay lah, mama, just go for it, just go for it. We know you can do it. So it was really awesome that they all of them were working, and this was one of the only times they could actually meet. So the mental support that they gave, especially as the emotional support, was really important. So I give the physical support by giving the push and by leading by the front lah. So she after a while she started to become more and more vocal. She started to laugh out loud. She started to cough and then laugh and then sneeze and then laugh again. And then I just get quiet. I just tried to observe. And after about 45 minutes, we take a water break. We had a water break. And she was drinking water, and she was like, sharing stories about work. I think she was unloading a lot of stress, you see. So we were in nature, and I think there was nobody else walking around except for our group. So she was saying about, my boss, what? So all in all, I don't have to go into details, but all in all, I realized that she was really under a lot of stress. So probably all the problems that she had wasn't really a physical thing. Probably was all in the mind. So it manifested, like what Mr. Shuko said, it manifested into real pain because she had a pain in the mind because of people causing her pain, and then suddenly pain in the body, and then suddenly, cannot breathe, like everything. But then during the walk, she became she became a more and more vocal. She was able to open up, and she suddenly kept quiet. After the whole. I just looked at her. I just smiled, and then she kept quiet, and then she said, "Hey, Hilmi, I think I can breathe. We carry on, we carry on. We carry on, we carry on." That sort of thing. So it was really interesting because when was the last time you could exercise? When was the last time you actually went for a walk? We went outside because she works in IT. So, and she was a specialist in IT. So she was in the kind of work where it was on a shift basis. Sometimes you have to overnight. Oftentimes I have to overnight. She's a senior, so she had to have much longer hours than her peers. So in many times she couldn't unwind and distress, couldn't move around, couldn't perspire because always in air conditioning, always with blue light, with the monitor screens and all that. So and air condition, so air conditioning. So I told her that in nature it's warm, there's moisture all around, and it really can help you with the synapses, and as well as fresh air going into your lungs, helping you distress, at the same time motion in your inner pathways, so you actually feel different. And the coughing and the sinus coming out, it was just probably one of the effects like that it would have. Now and after 1 hour, she was feeling okay. Not only okay, she felt even better. She felt lighter. She could walk. And physically, I think we all know this. For the first half an hour to 45 minutes, the body would need that long to actually not only just warm up but also to use up to loosen up your joints, to get the blood circulating well, because you use up the energy stores that is hidden in your liver first, and then after that you feel lighter because your body is using the energy within the fats, and so on and so forth. So she felt more activated, because not only that, her hormones started to move, because it's the whole body function. So she feel the endorphins rushing in. So she felt not only happier, she felt healthier. That's what she said. She felt healthier. And she is a, a clinic for heart health patient lah. So she always tries from then on to go out with her family, to go for walks, to perspire a little bit, to ensure that not only does this allow her to unwind, it also allows her to maintain and improve her state of well-being. So not only was it like a miracle, like, oh, I can breathe better now, she also had a realization as well for herself. Yeah. So it was really good, because and then the family would because it's a free kind of thing, rather going outdoors is quite easy. It's a matter of getting the right shoes from Decathlon and attire. She the family had more excuses to go shopping, to get the right shoes. They had more things that were in common, they could go out and give motivation to one another. And because the mother, she had a way to declutter. um, the husband told me that he suddenly can sleep better at night, because lesser lesser stories of heartache at home. So uh, everything got better lah. So not only that, their eldest child, a son, going to, I think it's 30 this year. He told me that actually ever since then, he was always having this problem with migraines. For some reason, because his mother was always cooking nowadays for the whole family, because she has more energy, he has no more migraines. So yeah, it's a whole thing, it's a whole family. It starts with one, and it just domino effect for everybody. That's just one situation where a whole family comes in together, bringing in the weakest link of the family to join in with the festivities, and everybody got stronger together. So SG United, then there were other stories where there's this individual, this lady. She's in her 60s, and she has asthma for the longest time. She has all these pains, fibromyalgia, where you have pains, but then doctors cannot pinpoint. You have to take painkillers, you have to go for massage every now and then.
Mm.
So it's really sad. And the more medication you take, the more acidic you become, and then sometimes you crave for good food a lot because you're in pain, or you want to treat yourself because you go through, just all of these kind of things. So there was this event where we had what we call an energy track, a healthy hijrah energy track, to get your journey started over at Marriage Reservoir. So it was a 14 to 15-kilometer walk and track. So many of these individuals, it was their first time going to Macritchie. It was the first time going for that distance, and so it was about 5 hours for the whole thing. Many of them couldn't recall the last time they actually walked more than half an hour. So it was really something lah for this particular lady. She felt that this was a great opportunity for her to learn where her limits were, and because because of exercising, because of looking through peers how they cope with drinking water. She was she was really humble. She was asking all the questions. She was doing everything she could to because scared got asthma, anything can happen, right? So she asked so many people what they do if they were going through this leg pain, or if their shoulder is feeling off when walking. Sometimes some people with fibromyalgia, they don't walk properly, they sag a bit because they are tense on one side, so the other side is more loose, so they walk a bit weird. So all these sort of things, when they throughout the whole journey, she not only could ask the instructors and facilitators who were there, she asked people who are going through the walk with her. So what she told me at the end was that she for once she felt that actually it could have been easier. All she needed to do was just start asking. And sometimes during the journey, because there were certain instances where she couldn't breathe. She was going to have the asthma attack, but then she calmed down and didn't. didn't have the attack. She told me that the last time she had attack was like about 16 years back, and it was really traumatizing. So to her, going through this kind of activities outdoors, going for walks, going for these journeys, it allowed her to be more aware for how her limits are, what she should be doing, and because she went with her family, it also showed to her family that she wasn't lazy, that she didn't want to go out. She just was trying to be careful, and she didn't want to be a burden. And their family members start to learn that, the mother, the aunt, the sister actually was trying to not bring everybody's spirits down. That's why she doesn't want to do a lot of things. But she just didn't want to. She was afraid of judgment. She was afraid that people didn't know what to do. So ever since then, I found out that as a family, they started to learn more on how to handle asthmatism, the asthma situation, how to handle the body pains. So they changed their nutrition. They started to take more antioxidants in diets. They have more regular outings. They actually have family barbecues in the outdoors rather than just eating only in the restaurants, or just hanging out at home only. They actually try to be more adventurous, and I think that's one of the things that, even though it's a health thing, it also came about as a mental shock to them as well, and became a realization. And like what Mr. Alfian has mentioned, where this is actually something that people can go because it's out there, it's available. It's a matter of going out, and you don't have to book MacRitchie Reservoir to walk at MacRitchie Reservoir, that sort of thing. I mean, he didn't say that lah, but basically you save money, and then you can go to
Yes, yes.
Decathlon, buy shoes and all that. Yeah, and then at the same time,
Sponsored
By the
Decathlon,
way,
many of
guys, we are
these
not sponsored by Decathlon.
yeah, sorry.
yeah. So many of the experiences not only were like that, there were some who actually were they had injuries back in the day. They had accidents like the knee injury, that sort of thing, so they were very scared of walking. But in actual fact, they should be active so as to reduce the chances of deterioration of the muscles, so as to take care of their weight lah, because many of the time they told me that they couldn't exercise, and hence why their body mass kept going up. So we told them that maybe we go for something shorter, like for example, kayaking and swimming exercises that we have done. It was something that took loads of their feet, loads of their knees. So it was something for them to try. And then after that, some of them who actually lost quite a lot of weight, they started to join the trekking, the walking events that we have. So it is all, in the outdoors. Some of them, they have problems that are permanent, but because of these permanent issues, they think that there's no solution at all. They really couldn't find ways to go around what was their permanent blockage. They couldn't go around because the thing is a blockage. Okay, stuck. So this is my life. So in many times, not only do we find that, or do I find that when they have this kind of experiences or rather traumas in their life, they also need the group therapy to start talking about how to handle their situation lah. So in many times, the health benefits is never for the most part, never on the spot lah. But the long run, we start seeing some of them do put on the weight. This is many people join us because they want to lose weight, but and some also want to build muscles lah. So we are human beings. This, being that we are, our makhluk is actually what we call a survival mechanism. You know, if we don't eat, our body have fat stores to survive, or if we don't have a proper diet, our body will retain fats, so it knows where we can survive such things. And at the same time as well, understand that they need to also have a social support system. This is not only like what we're talking about physical health, it's a mental health kind of thing as well. Oh, I think they are just beat about the bush.
Sure.
Keep thinking about Decathlon. So sorry.
You basically made up all the time that you
Yes. So
lost
sorry.
earlier
One thing to mention
on.
just now, I was talking that in many times, especially those diabetics in the Malay Muslim community, we have disproportionately a lot of diabetics, people with high have insulin tolerance or have weakened pancreas. So with that, when they participate in this sort of events, for those who join us quite regularly, I found that some of them, they, yeah, sorry. So many of them, they started perspiring. They started to slim down the superficial, the water weight a lot. So when they start to do that, they start to see differences to take care of themselves. Oftentimes when their body have you get this water bloat effect due to improper nutrition. All these walking events, all these prolonged more than half an hour or even more than 3 kilometers worth of walking can really have a substantial effect. Will just come out. And even if we for our participants who after 2 weeks of prolonged or regular walking, they would see their high blood pressure situation really dramatically go down, the cholesterol be more controlled. Same time, their body's resistance to insulin going down because the body is actually using, you can see, especially for outdoors. Not only, there's people with home workouts and everything in the gym, in the yoga studio, all that. But specifically when we're outdoors, we get to perspire, we get to go the distance, we get to have whole body workouts, not only just isolated situation. What I've just mentioned just now happened for individuals.
Cool, thank you. I think that was like the most informative 20 minutes that we have had.
That's a thesis.
That's a thesis.
Sponsored by Decathlon.
Sponsored by Decathlon. Right, and I think that the interesting thing is while you're sharing all these examples, right, I think you kind of like indirectly answered this question from Zainon Sahad that asked, where do you draw the positivity and to empower your client, especially the elder ones, outdoor activity kind of program, right? Because I think you have so many examples, so many positive examples of how the outdoors and how the outdoors being incorporated into their workout program, right? That I think through just giving all these examples to your clients, it empowers them to say that yes, I think I can do it too. If a 60-year-old auntie with diabetes can do this, I can do it too. If a 50-year-old auntie with asthma can do this, I can do it too. Oh, this auntie that went through this, and then her family benefited through the process as well. I think I want that for my family as well. So all your experience and all your stories that you have of all your clients, I think those become your ammunition, right, or your evidence to say that actually, yeah, it first of all, it empowers you and gives you that affirmation that you're on the right track with the work that you're doing. And then of course when you share it with your clients, and like you said, the group therapy thing, right, like they themselves share with each other as they go on that first track together or whatever, that helps with reaffirming that, hey, I can do this too, right? And things like that. Yeah, so was quite interesting to
Yes.
hear you talk, and then I'm like, oh, that question actually answered already. Okay, very good. Right, so we're going to take like one more question before we wrap up, because we are already coming to like 90 minutes of this session already, right? So thank you guys for hanging on and being with us and really being very interested. We've got so many questions that, it's a tough one to actually choose like which one to respond to. We're going to take one more question from the audience, and then we're going to wrap up with a final question for our side as well. Okay, so that one more question that we have here is from Jeff, who asked that if you have a gap between your children as wide as, example, 17 years old and 11 years old, any suggestions to motivate them in participating in a common activity? And I think like Shuko and Alfian, your kids are around that range in terms of the age gap, right? Yeah, right. So yeah, why don't you guys like just share a little bit, like, do you motivate them to have a common activity, or it's okay if they don't have, as long as they are active? Yours,
Please.
scissors, paper, stone. Come on.
Okay. If I were to start, my eldest is 18 years old. My youngest is 14 years old. So the age gap is not too far. The way I see it, of course, when they're younger, it's easy to get them together because everybody can do the same thing. Everybody get engaged doing the same thing. But as they grow older, they have their own likes, their own dislikes. Like for example, my eldest is already 18 now. He doesn't want to go and climb anymore. He's rather at home using his mouse and keyboard and all that. Whereas my youngest one still climbing. So if you want to say how to motivate them, probably I guess it's again back to if you have prior relationship with them when they're young. It's always easier to just get out, do something, whether you like it or not, just do it. Because eventually, because the bond is already there in the first place. So eventually they will get together and still do it. So whatever activities, they may not like it, but if you throw it them together, eventually they will do it anyway. But again, like I said, they have to have that prior bond. So if they have grown up without, doing things together, all that, and that will be a really uphill task.
Cool. Thanks, Alfian. Shuko, yourself, any suggestions?
Now your turn, no
now
sound.
Shuko's turn. Oh no, we're taking turns to lose sound, guys. What's up, man?
Your turn.
I think you have to unmute. I think you have to unmute his microphone.
He's unmuted already, leh. Shuko automatic already.
Yuko has left the building.
Once we know how it works, we all do it automatically now.
Okay, maybe I share from my side.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so how do we help for those individuals who are, say one's 17 and then another's 11, and then age gap can be a real
might have
thing.
others in
So
between.
having the right approach is really important, and knowing where they're from. Yes. We will definitely have others in between. That's for sure. And then we have the probably elders could be 71. Your own grandmother or your own mother. So for me, I always follow Prophet Muhammad SAW, his method lah. When the way he treats children, for me lah, and I translate it to my practices. We treat children, especially those who are the age of 2 to 4, as the holiest of holy. So we always look at them as really pure, have no bad intention. Once they hit the age of 5 to 7, that's what we call mais, or the time where they start to see right and wrong, just that they cannot decide for themselves. So we actually have to highlight to them what's good, what's bad, what are the negatives, but then we still have to guide them and handhold them all the way. Those going on to 8, 9, 11 to probably at most 13, just before they reach puberty, sexual maturity, or baligh, we also try our best to tell them what are the pros and cons, what are the good things and bad things. We handhold them, but at the same time also ask them questions. What do we do? Give them situations where they can have their own creativity or their own expression, but still handhold them, telling them what's good for them. So they have to try. So like some of them they don't want, then we tell them, okay, you try first. This is good, is bad, but then you try first. So like you have the experience. That's for those who are in the age range of 7 to 13. And then we move on to those who are 13 to 17. They are teens. They are in this what we call the transitional stage, and the Prophet actually, when he takes care of children around this age, he will talk to them in a manner where, as a brother, even though he's like a father age to them, he would talk to them as if they were a younger sibling. So in many ways, when we talk to the teens, we talk to them as an elder, but then not as a commanding figure. We invite them, not only command them. We have to tell them the pros and cons, because they already have their mindset to what they want and what they like. Probably not fully fleshed out yet, but we have to tell them how to do things. And in many ways, what actually would strengthen them, empower them, we actually to give them some form of authority, especially in front of the younger ones. Like maybe for the 11-year-old, we tell them, okay, 17 years old, you have to set the example to show. He will look at you, because you're the older one and you're the one with leadership. And we can also, in some ways as well, show acknowledgement for the older one in front of the younger ones. Like, okay, your brother has done this, okay, now it's your turn. So your brother will show you. Your brother knows what to do. That kind of thing, acknowledgement in front of others. And those after 17 to 21 or to 25, we call this the emancipation or young adult age. This is where, in many ways, when we talk to them as partners. Even though we can be 60, these individuals, we talk to them as partners, we talk to them as friends. And like friends, when you want to do something with a friend, like for example, going to the movies, we actually have to bring them like, hey, let's go to the movie together. Then people will actually respond, right? In contrast to, hey, that movie's good, you go So it doesn't work well for those who are above 17, those their age. So for those for the youngest, you have to see whether this 17-year-old is that kind, going to that young adult mentality, or is still within the transition as a almost complete person who knows what he wants but hasn't reached that maturity of having things down yet. So, but nonetheless, this is where we treat them with respect and we give them some form of authority to empower them so that they won't not only rebel, they also look at you as a chain of command, but look at you as a lieutenant towards the younger 11-year-old. And the younger 11-year-old, we still have to give them space, to give them some form of expression, but we do have to tell them what's good for them and command them in some way so they will follow. So it's like that lah. This is how for me, this is what I've done for my participants, because they bring in families, and sometimes I'll be very honest and very blunt. They come from broken families, parents divorced, or the someone passed away, so they're a single parent household. So sometimes this where I impart on the children how they can actually how you help their mothers when these children know the kind of things they need to hear from another man, that kind of thing. So without being of their father, I'll actually give them the authority so that, hey, this is your mother you're speaking to. Who else is going through your mother right except for you, that kind of thing, so this is where we have to actually empower, and looking at their stage in life that they are at, this is where in many ways, once you got this done, you can bring them to anything they're doing once you got to their better nature.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Shuko, your turn.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can hear you now.
Can.
Basically, my microphone ran out of battery. Okay, so I only have stories. I'm a trained social worker, and I think we are talking about the psychology of the kids and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of story to tell. 1 more hour also cannot finish. My wife is a behavior analyst, so basically we take a look at things and how we do things. I think there's something that I want to share is this.
Nice.
It's much easier. I realize it's much easier that we're talking about boys to follow whatever the theory says. I mean, I learned the theory, I understand the theories, but somehow when it comes to ladies, let's say for example, 19-year-old girl and a 12-year-old girl, tak sama leh. I try to read the book, so cannot relate because there are some other mechanisms that males don't understand
We can never understand them.
I don't want to get involved. But I'm trying to get at this. Yes, it is true that there are ways to handle, just like what Brother Hilmi is saying. Because we are looking into, one is very industrial, the younger one is very industrial. I want to show something. I want to do something. Is this right or is this not right? Let me just do it. I'm on my own. I'm growing up. And then you have the older one who are actually more to intimacy, more to I have my own identity. Childish and stuff like that. So these are the things that can see. So I think I can only say to parents, not about the kids, but also to parents. I think we need to understand who we are first. As an adult, we are way past that. We have come to generativity. I think I am generativity, which means that we have come to a stage. We have come to a stage that whenever we see this, I say, hey, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. And then we try to always do something about it. And that's where I think it's wrong. We should allow things to happen quite naturally. And our job is actually to guide, but with a better understanding what's going on behind their head. But not to stop them. Because the more you stop them, the more things malfunction can happen or dysfunction can happen. I think this is the only thing that I can share a little bit. There are more stories. I give an example. During the Annapurna trek, we have a 67-year-old lady
who works very well with an 11-year-old girl. An 11-year-old girl understands so much about what's going on with the geriatric. So we're looking at young adolescents and geriatric, both able to work together. And somewhere in between, they are still about themselves. They're still about thinking about what to do this. Do I look good enough? Am I cool enough? I think we are the one who, if we're able to see this, we need to maneuver ourselves nicely. I've read some books. Of course, my degree is actually on psychology, human youth development. But then when I realized when it comes to, in reality, the surrounding plays an impact to this, and we need to understand what does this impact, like the mountains, like the staircase, never-ending staircase. What goes inside their head? Suddenly a beautiful scenery, what's going inside their head? And I realized that the younger one, although they don't look at how beautiful is a mountain, they actually see human being. They actually see whether that woman needs help, whether this guy needs help, whether I can take the lead forward, whether I can walk at the back. Their mind are not the same. They're looking things at very differently. I think that's where the adventure of the adults will start. I think when you go mountain climbing, you're no longer a leader. You actually look at how these people actually do. I'm always surprised. I wrote it down in my work, in my study. How if I think together with brother Jeff and brother Shahir, we actually put together I think close to 12 kids going to the river and so on. They behave differently. And I think we need to give these moments a lot more to these kids. And this is, I think, the education that actually we need. We don't have it in Singapore, too bad. But the little spot, Macruchi, there's little longkang in Bukit Timah. There's little summit here and there that we can go. I think these are good place to go. Yeah, but you want to real climb trees and so please go Malaysia. You want to go to the caving, go to Malaysia and stuff like that. I think we can develop that. And that is what I think the benefits of physically climb the mountain, physically go kayaking. But what are we building? We are building actually mental and also character in this case. I think this is, to me, is the philosophy that we want to look at when we deal with the outdoor education. So that's what I thought. My perspective of the question.
Cool. Thanks so much, because it is interesting that it's not about the activity, isn't it? It's not about whether we climb the mountain or we go to the river or we go for a walk. It really doesn't matter what the activity is, whether it's common or not. It's really with the intention, as I think we started the conversation with that as well, the intention of why we choose to use the outdoors as a platform to build physical health, and in the process building mental and emotional health as well, and not just for the individual but also for the family at large. Based on all the stories that you all have shared, it's never about the child, or it's never about just the adult. It's really how the entire ecosystem of the community is a part of the entire journey together. It's all interwoven. You cannot eliminate, just like talk about this only and then don't have all the other aspects as well. It's always connected some way or another. And I love the stories that you're sharing and you're telling. I think I really hope that the audience who's listening in benefits from this and their questions are being answered. Kyrie, I am aware that you have a question for us. Unfortunately, because of time, we won't be able to respond to that question on air. But we will see the gentleman have some time right later on, just respond to his question via the comments page lah. Because I think his question is also, this one will take another 15, 20, 30 minutes to respond to, right? So to honor each other's time, I also don't want to drag this any further. We're going to end off this entire session with a last question for all our guests. And I know there was a question that was given to you earlier, but I'm going to change the question, okay? So bear with me for this moment. And if you need a moment to think about it, it's fine. I'm going to just ask you if there's one last word or one last thing that you'd like to tell our audience with regards to the outdoor learning approach to physical health. What would that be?
Chim Lei, say again. Try to unchim it.
Unchim it. Okay, can I try to unchim it? Right. So if there's like one last words, right, or summary or phrase that you're gonna just leave our audience at, because we talk about so many things, right? If there's just this one thing you like them to remember about the outdoor learning approach to physical health, what would this thing be?
I think I can.
Sure.
Not mine, but more to like my wife. Turn one day to day one.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, not mine, but of course mine. If mine,
You credit to her, it's okay. Yeah, you credit to her can already. So when you say turn one day to day one, how does that look like?
stop,
Like
stop dreaming. You got to wake up to keep on moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just start lah, just start basically.
Oh,
Just start.
Yeah. I was doing counseling when people say, oh, my dream is in my dream. So in the end, dream are free lah. So there's one day. I mean, in counseling, you will realize that there's something called challenge. You're able to challenge your counselee. So the challenge is, hey, stop dreaming. Wake up and start moving. So that's what I think it relate to. Start making one day to day one.
Cool. Thanks, Shuko. Alfian or Hilmi?
Yeah, when all this happened before CB, a lot of people always wanted to join the events that we had. So the problem was when CB happened, suddenly I had received so many messages where people want to join. Oh, too bad lah, CB happened already. No, alamak, cannot. If not, I join already. But over the years, they didn't join. But anyway, I think if you were to ask me now, I would say cherish it lah, because nature is something that will not be there. Even going out the house will not be something that was taken away from us. So cherish it lah. Just cherish it.
Cool. Thank you, Hilmi. Alfian.
If I
We
were
can hear everyone. Okay, sorry, I'm very happy. Every time we ask a new question, we will lose someone. But this time around, we can hear everyone. Did we just lose Alfia again?
Actually joking only lah. Okay. No, okay. If I were to tell them about outdoors, I just say, let's go back to basics. The outdoors. Probably some of us, as we grow older, as we get busier with our work, sometimes we forget how our childhood was like. Going outdoors, just having fun. Forget about everything else, just having fun. But I do understand that our children grew up in different times. So we have to teach our children differently, which means we have to provide that opportunity intentionally. Maybe back in our time, it's unintentional. Just get out and learn. So, but because our children grow up in different times, so we have to teach them differently. Our intention must be clear. That is from my perspective as father, but probably as a perspective from an educator, I would say that even MOE recognizes the importance of outdoor education. That's why it's being introduced as part of our PHE, physical health education. So if MOE recognizes the importance of that, why aren't you? So probably let's go back to basics. Let's go outdoors, because outdoors, like what Mr. Shuko mentioned, covers a lot of things. It's not just basically just go out and it covers a lot of things. So probably let's go back to basics.
Thank you, gentlemen. Can you give yourself all a round of applause? Well done. Thank you so much for your time and your nuggets. I think all these things, without such a session, right? We will probably just hear one or two nuggets. Okay, I'm sorry, not very healthy. But
time for dinner.
Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. I'm so sorry for all the hiccups along the way, and really appreciate your patience, your generosity, and also just your willingness to jump into this session and share with our audience on Grundy, right? And hopefully moving forward, we can do this together as a community through our voices individually and collectively, to encourage more people to really look into their health, not just the physical aspect, but I think, like you mentioned very nicely in this entire session, that because everything's interwoven, if we start, as Mr. Shuko says, right, if we start just start, right, on the physical aspect, it will impact our emotional, impact our mental, and then not just for ourselves, but the people that's around us, whether it's our family or friends. And collectively, and when I say collectively, like just whether it's the four of us or as a community at large, right, we just have to spark something off. I think Hilmi mentioned this, like ignite the engine and just go. And I think after this CB and after this circuit breaker, like now that we are going to phase 2 and eventually phase 3, we will emerge a healthier, stronger nation and people. Yeah, not just being as a unit, a nation, but really just as individuals in the nation, because we are the building blocks as well, right? So once again,
SG
thank you
United.
everyone. Yes, thank you our audience also for being so participative and so involved. We really appreciate your questions and your comments. And I think even after this session has ended, keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming. If our guests are available, I think they would be okay to just share their thoughts via the chat as well. To just keep it moving as well, right? So thank you once again. We will say goodbye and we'll see you when we see you again. I'm not sure when the next live stream will be for Grundy. We'll wait for IFA to come back into action and share that with everyone. So thank you very much. We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you,
Have a good
Michelle.
dinner.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr. Shiko.
you.
Thank you, Hilmi.
Thank you. Thank you.